It was the night before upload day, and everything was going wrong. I had given myself a week and a half to work on a project involving the newly released, totally doesn't have anything wrong with it at the moment, Persona 3 Portable port, but time was running short. I had until 3:30 PM on Friday to finish it, and still over half of the game to finish. Not wanting to release this video in multiple parts, I had to think about a completely new video idea in order to still be relevant. Otherwise YouTube would cast me aside just like Atlas did to Project Re Fantasy. I paced around my office for a while, pushing my brain further than it had ever been before, and that's when it hit me. Can you beat Persona 4 Arena without fighting? Initially, this thought passed through my mind months before, but I quickly dismissed it purely because I simply thought it was impossible. I mean, how can you beat a fighting game without fighting? This made me dismiss the idea again. However, by the time this thought ran through my head, I had already set up my PS3 with my capture card, which is an absolute pain in the ass, so I went into playing the game with the intention of beating it without taking damage. But I am no professional fighting game player, and time was running out. So I decided that it was finally time that I investigated to truly find out that if beating Persona 4 Arena without fighting was hopeless. Oh, and guys, speaking of hopeless, I'd really appreciate you making my YouTube channel less hopeless by liking the video, commenting, telling me your thoughts on the video, and subscribing to the channel for future updates. Most people who watch my channel are unsubscribed, and it'd mean the world to me if my hard work making these videos was paid off with those sweet, juicy clicks. Now that the scheduled sellout part of the video is out of the way, we can get back into what you all came for. The point of Persona 4 Arena is to fight with your persona against other characters that appear in the franchise until either one of you runs out of health or the timer runs out. The person with the most health remaining would win. With this concept, one would think there would simply be no way to be able to beat the game without resorting to violence. But still, I wanted to know. The first thing I had to do, however, was determine how you exactly beat the game, as there are realistically two ways you can. The more obvious one is going through the story mode and completing each one until you have cleared that mode, but for the time frame I had, that was simply way too long. But luckily for me, the other way is much shorter. The other way to clear Persona 4 Arena is beating arcade mode with any chosen character, and this method is much shorter than its story mode counterpart. Not only is it shorter because you don't have to deal with skipping walls of text, it's also shorter because you can fiddle with the match settings to lessen the round time, as well as change the amount of wins you need to succeed. For this challenge, I needed any small advantage I could get, so I ended up changing the settings because the goal was to simply be able to beat the game without fighting. And anything that the game allowed me to make it easier, you can bet your ass I was on that shit faster than Nintendo when they see a fan game. The only thing left was now to test whether or not this would help in my goal at all. With everything set up, I ventured into the arcade mode, and it went about as well as you'd expect it. I was trying my best to be able to dodge and weave my way through everything, but as you guys can clearly see, being a pacifist in Persona 4 Arena just isn't the way you can go about beating this game. Even with the AI set on beginner difficulty, they are too relentless, and I'm not good enough at this game to even block and dodge all of the incoming damage. Not only this, but even if I were to manage to somehow be able to have a flawless game, how would I even win? Logically, if you have taken no damage and your opponent has taken no damage, the game would result in a draw, which would probably void the round and not allow you to progress through the game because you simply didn't win. This was something I wanted to test, but as you can clearly see from the footage playing, I kinda really suck at not taking damage at all. So this idea had to be thrown out the window, along with all of my hopes and dreams. It was at this point I had fully given up and believed that this video was useless and a huge waste of time. Everyone would know the answer before even clicking on the video, just like I knew it before even trying it. However, there was one more thing in the game that I hadn't thought of yet. Player 2. There were still a lot of questions about the game I wanted answers to, so I decided I'd test them by hooking up another controller to the console. By doing this, I was able to create a controlled environment where the outcome was solely determined by me, and the first thing I wanted to test was what would happen if I just let the timer run down without doing anything. As you can guess, the game just resulted in a draw, with the round restarting once, then the second time it just took me back to the menu without any victory screen in sight. In this phase of testing, I accidentally came across something that gave me hope, that it was actually possible to be able to beat the game without fighting. There is an action you can perform in the game called a furious action, and this action costs 5% of your yellow health, which turns into blue health. The blue health will recover over time, however. If you are hit, you lose all of your blue health, as well as taking damage from your yellow health. If someone casts this ability and the round ends, the opponent will be determined the winner, and as you can see from this clip, Akihiko won the round, without doing literally anything. So guys, it's actually possible to beat the game without fighting, and I cannot even believe that it's possible. Though getting there seems impossible. I was not able to do it myself, as this task is exceedingly difficult. It relies on you being able to dodge everything and for the AI to cast their furious action at just the right time before the round ends. Being able to create this in game is a task that I simply just don't think I have the time and patience for. But honestly, knowing it's possible made me really excited, as this stupid idea for a video actually paid off. If anyone is able to do this, my hat goes off to you, because my good friend, you are able to do the near impossible. So guys, you actually can manage to beat Persona 4 Arena without fighting. Who knew that it was somehow possible to beat a fighting game without fighting? I certainly didn't think it was at all possible when I initially thought about this idea, and especially after initial testing. However, it only took 2 controllers for me to be able to prove that it is in fact possible. What do you all think about this scientific finding? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content from me. Now, with that all being said and done, my name is Resident Unleashed, the resident who found out the answer to a silly question and unleashed it out into the world, and I'll catch you all next time.